For some runs, the first fight with Tabitha in mid-game is harder than Maxi himself. In my opinion, he is the second most difficult fight in Flannery Split, behind Flannery. However, by catching a Jynx in Granite Cave, it can clear up much of the fight for you and make it significantly easier. With just an IV requirement of 13 speed IVs or higher, Jynx will be able to outspeed and KO the Dodrio with Ice Punch, bait in Flygon due to its weakness in typing, and Flygon's Rock Slide being seen as a super effective move towards it, kills that too without outspeeding Ice Punch, and finally bait in Wheezing. Now the thing is with Wheezing is that it's very risky normally. It can explode, it's very common for it to use Switch AI midterm using other Pokemon, but Jynx will be able to bait it in safely and kill it with one shot with Psychic. If you want to, even, you could stay in with Jynx and kill the upcoming Manectric, because it baits it in due to overheat. However, you'd unfortunately have to dodge a critical hit, which is completely unnecessary. There are enough riskless counters for this Manectric, and most runs will have one alive at this point, such as Whiscash, Swampert, and Volt Absorb Lantern as shown here, and much of those are either very likely encounters or almost guaranteed. The Manectric's best move here is Crunch, but because of Volt Absorb making its highest damaging move, Thunderbolt, unavailable, the AI will start to use random move regardless of its effectiveness, like Overheat or Hidden Power Water, when it should be using Crunch. So Lantern oftentimes take very little damage, so after a couple of Bubble Beams, it should be fine to counter it quite easily. And, as Manectric dies, it will bait the second last Mon, Aggron, and Aggron will bait in a mixture of Head Smash and Earthquake. Quick Claw Aggron in this position is always a bit risky no matter what your counter is, because there is no riskless counter to Aggron. I use Poliwrath here, which still risks some in the matter with Quick Claw crits, but you could alternatively use a Pokemon like Breloom, Whiscash, Hariyama, or Swampert. Poliwrath outspeeds usually if Quick Claw doesn't proc, and will kill it 100% of the time with Superpower, with a quad super effective move. Finally, Poliwrath after killing the Aggron will bait in the final Pokemon on Tabitha's team, which is Arcanine. You can pretty easily stall out this Arcanine with a decent counter, like Magcargo due to its access to Recover, defensive typing, and access to Ancient Power. Really, with almost your entire team at full health, there shouldn't be too big of a problem finding a way to beat it, even if you don't have a definitive counter like Magcargo. Tabitha's Arcanine is a brave nature too, so a lot of Pokemon outspeed it due to it being a lower speed tier. It also has had the tendency to use HP Grass for some reasons unexplained, but nonetheless, so eventually I can chip with Magcargo and finish it off with Lantern, eventually, after using an Ancient Power by Recover stalling the Wild Charges. Because Wild Charge is an electric move, Lantern should be able to switch into it and recover the HP that it lost during its altercation with Manectric, and should be able to take a critical hit, Hidden Power Grass, pretty easily due to Arcanine's relatively low special attack stat, and that will finish the fight with Tabitha with very, very little risk necessary.